Okay, it's always exciting to be able to talk about initiatives that are being proposed and used to solve some of the challenges. And we at INASP have been very pleased to be involved with the Think, Check, Submit initiative. It's a joint initiative of a number of organizations across the industry, publishers, open access suppliers, ourselves as the mediators between researchers and publishers. It helps researchers to think through the options of where they might want to have their papers published, provides them with key criteria to check before the submission of the papers, and then it enables them to make an informed decision about the submission. So what is it? It's been a campaign, and I did mean to pick up one of my nice little bright red cards. We've got a lot of flashcards around that if you want extras to hand out, we can supply for you. Thank you, Don. And also, it's downloadable, this and posters, from the website, thinkchecksubmit.org. So it's the sort of thing that can be advised to librarians, advised to research groups, and displayed around. It helps researchers to identify trusted journals, and it gives a very simple checklist to assess those credentials, and therefore means that we're producing a core of high-quality literature that's actually being published as well. Why do we do it? I think this morning's session has completely answered that one. There's more research being published worldwide. There are new journals being launched every week. Some of those are absolutely valid, some of them are not. We hear huge stories, as this morning, of malpractice and deception going on. Particularly, I'm afraid, the developing country researchers are susceptible to some of this. Because as we were saying, sometimes the normal form of speech is very flattering. And people accept that actually someone really does want their highly valued article, and they're the top researcher that's being searched for. So we need to help people to actually dig to the depths of this and make certain that guidance is kept up to date. As Don was saying again, you've only got a very small window to stop malpractice before it becomes entrenched. So what are the implications of this malpractice? Again, I think I can skim through this pretty quickly. You get published in a journal that's got no or low profile amongst its peers. You're not going to get cited. You're not going to get known. Your paper gets wasted. If the paper's not indexed because it's in a dubious journal, then it's very difficult for your peers to find it. You have a poor publishing experience because you've got this predatory or very low standard journal, publishes papers that are poor. You then get marked off as publishing poor papers yourself, and therefore your reputation is damaged. So what do? We encourage thinking. Are you submitting to a trusted journal? And all of this is much amplified on the Think, Check, Submit site. Is it the best journal for your work? So you may get a paper submitted and accepted, but actually there could be a better journal that you're going to get more recognition from by publishing there. Check. Simply use your common sense sometimes. Is this a journal that you know and use and cite? Do your colleagues use it? Can you get hold of the publisher and not at his funny, dodgy address where there are 44 other journals being published out of? Do you recognize the editorial board? Most specialists will have some idea of the people who are known in their field. Our publication charge is clearly stated. You need to know that anything that you're being charged is upfront and visible, and you've got the means of checking that maybe an APC is actually what is standard. Peer review. Does the journal state very clearly how that is done, how peer reviewers are chosen, giving you some sort of reliability about that? And if you're then convinced that this is the right place, you can submit. But only having done all that thinking. So through AuthorAid, through other initiatives, through every time we write or speak to anyone, we are suggesting to our developing country researchers make use of the tools on the Think, Check, Submit website, so that they're actually starting to build up a practice of not just being able to write the papers, but being able to think very carefully about what they do with that paper. So where do you find more information? thinkchecksubmit.org. We're also looking for feedback, so there's actually a feedback email address, and tweeting. So anytime anyone wants to tweet about thinkchecksubmit.org, whether useful, whether they've got suggestions for changes, that helps us to keep it up to date. I mentioned there were a number of industry organizations, many of which are well known, some commercial publishers, some organizations, so sisters to SSP within ALPS and UKSG, ISSN is down there, OASPA, or Open Access is in there, and of course ourselves. So how do you get involved? As a researcher, make use of the list and feedback, because the developed or established or late career researchers have got their own tips on how to choose journals for submission, and it will really help us to hear that. Librarians publicize as much as possible. I speak as a librarian. It helps us to have our role in supporting research if we can let people know. Publishers, you might want to add it into your author guidelines or share it in some way or another. And anyone, submit FAQs. Help us build up a website that becomes really reliable and really useful. Thank you.